Hello guys, I'm Ryan Wright.
I'm Ian Gutoskie.
Ian Gutoskie, stand-up comic friend of mine, writer. We're gonna talk about a movie that everyone unanimously hates, Deadpool. Now I'm doing something that might annoy the hell out of you guys, but I kind of like listening to music when I talk with people. So I thought this would be like kind of cool if I had some royalty-free music playing. Woohoo! It's really setting the mood for Deadpool.
It's actually a pretty good song. Yeah.
It's like really relaxing. All right, for starters, one of the best things about this movie, probably the best thing about this movie, and this was the one thing I was hoping I'd walk away from most. Ryan Reynolds fucking kills it. Even if you don't really like the movie, you can't disagree that Ryan Reynolds nails this fucking role.
There's certain guys that are like, they're the only person that can play that character. Like,
yeah.
Right? Like Jim Carrey can only play the Grinch. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody else that can play that role.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds is the only actor alive that can play Deadpool.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you think about it, because I thought it really resembled when he was in Blade 3.
Yeah.
As Hannibal. You know, and you just like, even then, like as soon as they announced him as Deadpool, I thought of that instantly. I'm like, well, yeah, that's perfect.
You see, what's so cool about this? I love how this fucking music's killing me.
I'm like really vibing.
I'm like,
is
this a good idea? In a day and age of comic book movies, there's two things I noticed. One that everyone's talking about is that it's an R-rated Marvel movie. Now, I know we've got in Blade, I know we've got in The Punisher, but this is the first one where it's like a character that's part of a bigger universe for sure. This is part of the X-Men universe, and they make that very clear in this film, that it's a part of the X-Men world. To see that they took a spin-off character from a movie that no one really liked and made it work is so cool, because X-Men Origins, he's only in it for like, when he's actually Wade Wilson, he's probably like got 15 minutes of screen time. I just watched it again. What's so unique is that normally a studio would be like, that's your one shot, movie sucks, sorry, we're gonna recast you for the reboot. They instead said, we're gonna reboot this and we're gonna bring you back, you know? Like, I know Ryan Reynolds really fought for it, and damn, did he like own this role.
It was amazing, because he's always been great comedically in everything you've ever seen him in, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he always knocks it out of the park. And you mix that in with action sequences,
yeah,
and it gives you something that I've never really experienced in like action sequences or any superhero movie. The comedy's always after the fight.
Yeah.
This, you're getting all the great jokes in the middle of these fights.
Yeah.
And that's mind-blowing, and I think that's why everybody's jerking this movie off.
Yeah, because I heard someone say that it's one of the best comedies they've seen in a long time. I can't remember who. I don't say it's one of the best comedies, but it's definitely one of the most fun movies I've seen of all time. It is pure fun. That's like the definition of it. Like, it's rare when you're watching a movie where grotesque things are going on and you're like, ah, like, it's actually funny.
Yeah.
And then he backs it up with like a punchline or something, you know? My concern was, I read some of the comic, and then I was like, how can they make this guy relatable? And the movie did a brilliant job of, the first half of it cuts back between the present and then the past. The present and the past. And I thought, like, man, if they just put the past in chronological order and in the beginning, it wouldn't have set the mood and tone for the movie at all. And then if it hopped into Deadpool world, it would have seemed like, whoa, where'd this fucking come from, you know? So it was smart to tell this origin tale of Deadpool, but tell it in a different kind of order.
And allow the movie to open up just high impact.
Yeah.
Which is what you need from a Deadpool movie, right?
Yeah.
So, because a lot of those, when you do those first, whenever they're introducing a new character in the movies, it's always like, you've got so much kind of, you almost have to kind of sit through the crap to get to the part, you know?
Totally,
right?
totally.
Because you have to like go through the story and all this. This movie found a way to get around that, and it was amazing. Like, you never really felt bored at any moment in the movie.
What I fucking love about it is it's a complete film.
Yeah.
You don't need a sequel. Technically, you don't.
Yeah.
You really do.
No,
By the
that's
end,
a great point.
it's the whole story is done. So many of these comic book movies end on a note like, well, I guess we gotta watch the sequel. This movie told a complete story where it doesn't need a sequel, yet I'm amped for the sequel. You know?
Yeah.
Like, that's rare feeling to have, especially with comic book movies nowadays.
So the bar is on this movie is going to be set high.
Yeah.
So for the sequel to come out, like, it's going to have to set a pretty, you know, it's going to have to try, because you're not going to get better. You're going to have to try to duplicate greatness.
Yeah, it's like, it kind of reminds me of the experience we had with Batman Begins than The Dark Knight. Like, Batman Begins came out and everyone was like, fucking brilliant. And The Dark Knight comes out and you're like, oh! So I'm hoping Deadpool 2 has that kind of vibe too. Because of those past scenes we did get a chance that made sense and didn't yank me out of the film in its serious moments, because that was one thing too when I was reading the comic. I'm like, there's never a fucking serious moment. Like, at least I haven't come across one. The vibe of it is primarily wacky and goofy, and he breaks the fourth wall, all the things you love about Deadpool, but the movie did a great job at taking the right times to have it be serious. That is what I really credit it for, because that could have been overdone, but they did it just the right amount because they knew the Wade Wilson character. So even when the movie was serious, Wade Wilson was still being his funny self. It didn't go too serious ever.
Yeah, and I think you even go further when you say it broke the fourth wall constantly. And I don't want to give it away, but I think it breaks like this fifth wall.
Totally. They even have it.
You got it when you see it. You'll understand what I'm saying. It's amazing.
It just keeps going more meta as it just keeps going. You know.
Yeah, and you have to see it in the theater, man.
Oh yeah, it's a total theater experience.
It's a theater experience, man. Just that opening sequence. And I mean, I'll tell you this: there's only a handful. I'd say less than like 3 movies that I've ever seen more than once in a theater. This is a movie I'd go back and see in a heartbeat.
Totally.
And I'd love it every much as the first time.
And even though he does own this movie, there are good actors in it. Because of the opening, I don't want to give away the opening credits, but it does kind of make you think like, are they just gonna make fun of cliches the whole time?
Yeah.
But they weren't. Like, the characters were unique. T.J. Miller. Some people might walk away going, yeah, he's just doing his T.J. Miller thing. If you pay attention to like his performance in Silicon Valley, for example, versus the character here, you get a much more sincere version of T.J. Miller, a more caring version of T.J. Miller, not a narcissistic douchebag, you know? Like, he has his moments where he's being a dick.
Yeah, and he's also raunchier.
He's raunchier, but he's a different character, and I like the subtle differences of this TJ. He doesn't have an immediately repulsive look about him either.
But I will say, because TJ Miller's kind of a unique character in and of himself, when people say, oh, he's too TJ Miller, sometimes I'm like, that's what I want to see every time.
Yeah.
You know, because if you're that good at something like a Will Ferrell, or like, I want to see Will Ferrell in this Will Ferrell movie, you know?
But it was cool to see,
so
like...
I think TJ's like, yeah, but he did play something different, but TJ's just so great. He always knocks it out of the park. Every movie he's done, he's been hilarious.
He knows comedy timing really well.
He's brilliant at it.
And this movie, too, had a theme that I was like, no wonder this shit came out on Valentine's Day. It's fucking romantic. It's romantic. Like, I'm watching it and I'm like, this is not a typical romantic movie at all. But it's fucking romantic.
It's the most beautifully twisted
tale of romance.
Of romance you've ever seen. Just like you get the connection, you get everything about these two very flawed characters. It's
because the girl plays Vanessa is like Morena. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but she plays. Yeah, but she plays Schwarzenegger. So she plays Vanessa, his love interest, his girlfriend. What I love about the supporting characters is none of them ever try to outshine. They all seem like they were in the same movie. You know, this could have easily been one of those movies where you're like, well, you're kind of out of a different film. This one, like, she did a great job at playing it very straightforward. At the same time, though, there was a level of depth to her just from her opening scene that makes her immediately different and interesting than your typical female character in one of these films.
Yes, when you know both of their backstories, you wouldn't think you'd root for either of them. But together, you want them to succeed.
And another thing I gotta point out too,
interesting.
The British bad guy, I thought he was great.
Yeah, man.
I was like, I really do want this guy to die. And I think when a villain does that to you, that's a great feeling, because that shows he did a good job at playing the bad guy. Because as he kept going, I'm like, well, they got a full character here. He's not some cliche villain. Like, this guy's incredibly smart, and he's also very strong and athletic and stuff, and he has agility. It was really cool to see, like, this is actually one of the best villains I've seen out of the Marvel movies. I know it's not part of the MCU, but still. And best Stan Lee cameo, by the way.
Yeah, yes it is, yes it is. And the number 2 behind the villain, there's a great battle scene there.
Yeah.
That is mind-blowing. That you wouldn't think would happen like that. And
it's tie-ins to, because you see in the trailer there's going to be tie-ins to the X-Men world. And I don't want to give anything away, but the tie-ins are great. Colossus, never been more fun. The girl, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, she was really cool. She's cool. Man, and they have a great explanation as to why they're the only 2 featured in the movie.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say, man. It's just like I said, there's so many layers of jokes through like, you know, just through the storyline, and then through that sub, like, you know, then kind of like ripping on itself, and then it goes to a different level and rips on everything inside of it. Just like as a comic and as a writer, when I see that, I'm just like, I'm completely blown away, because like to hold that script together, I know it's a comic book movie, but I mean, honestly, it's beautifully written. I mean, you know, I'm highly impressed by it, man.
I gotta say, like, as far as fun comic book movies go, I think of movies like Wanted, Kick-Ass, Kingsman. Those are great. Those are really fun graphic novel adaptations. This is a character they're setting up to have its own franchise, and hands down, out of the X-Men universe, out of all the Marvel films, out of any comic book movie I've ever seen, this is the most fun I've ever seen a comic book movie have. I gotta say, it's one of the best comedic leads I've ever seen, too. Yeah. Like, Ryan Reynolds kills it. Even at times you don't know if he's under the suit or not, because it could be a stunt double. Still, the voice work, the delivery, it's all there.
And that's what, and here's the thing when you talk about franchise, I wonder if you could ever, because these are going to be an insanely popular series, can you ever try to reboot this? And I think the answer is no. No. Because anybody that it's like doing The Mask 2, and you're just like, oh, I think I can do what Jim Carrey does, you know, and fail miserably. I think the same thing will happen, just because, like I said, Ryan Reynolds is meant to play that. He was born to play that role, man. You can see it. His personality and a lot of stuff, if you've watched all of his comedies, there's a, you know, the way his style of comedy matches very well with Deadpool's sense of humor.
And he brings the drama to it. He always brings, he brings three-dimensional performances to comedy roles, and I love that.
Dude, he's a great actor. He's a great actor. He is.
And he knows how to poke fun of himself, too.
Yes, which is amazing.
Well, guys, I know you can't understand a YouTube review without a rating. I don't know why. It's pretty evident how we feel. I give it 100%.
I give it 300 rubles. Is that does it mean anything?
Yeah, it's like the points don't matter. Welcome to Whose Line Is It Anyway?
It's just, it's whatever the marking system is, it's that. That's where I'm at.
Awesome-tacular.
Yes.
2 thumbs up. 4 out of 5 schmoes.
You got them all?
I'm trying to cover all the ones I can recall. A+.
Big old A+.
Well, anyway, guys, thanks for tuning into the review. I will be doing a spoiler review, so keep a lookout for that. Not sure who I'm going to have with me, but keep a lookout for that. If you're new to the channel, you can subscribe today. Become a reject.
Fist bump.
And Ian Gutoskie has his own channel. You got to check it out. He's got a great web series on there called Satan's Corner. I showed it to Tyrone Magnus. Every video he watches, he just cracks up like so fucking much. So check it out. It's a great channel, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter, Vine.
All the good stuff, man.
Yeah. This is like the most serious I've gotten about promoting myself right now.
That's good. You did a great job. You felt you took command of it, and you said, do this now.
Because I always feel like when a YouTuber's like talking about subscribe, promote, it's always like, man, they're really trying to get everything in there to get themselves really popular all across the board, and I feel like I've successfully done that.
I'd say, and if I could give that a grade, whatever the mark is, the highest mark, I would give you that.
1,000 rupees.
Yeah, fucking make it 10,000, doesn't matter. 10,000 rupees.